You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Saturday Night Live. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest SNL news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off, and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Saturday Night Live.
Oh, that's right. Live. Back on Friday.
Friday.
That's right.
Keeping them on their toes.
Keeping them on their toes. One day we're on Sunday, one day we're on Friday. This is
Aren't you a busy beaver?
Well, aren't you a busy beaver? Welcome. This is the AFTERBUZZ TV podcast for
Sure is.
Saturday Night Live SNL. I'm Mario Hernandez, and with me, as always, is the man.
Graham high.
Graham, how high are you?
I'm, today,
Oh, no.
well, you know what? Yeah, I'm good.
Sky high? No?
I'm sky high.
Oh, dear. Oh, my.
No.
Let's
it's
get
not
serious
bad.
for a moment.
No,
Let's
no,
have-
no,
Don,
let's
I
have-
think
not
maybe
bad.
that's your cue.
I was just stuck in traffic, so like I'm back. I'm like getting in the zone now.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
was just having that antsy. I'm feeling good now.
Well, thanks a lot,
alright.
LA, for
Yeah.
putting Sky High, Graham High in a mood that's trying to get
What?
him,
God.
trying to get him back down to earth.
Yeah, I was on Earth for a while. Just
Okay.
like
You were
my
stuck in
car.
traffic.
Yeah,
in my car.
I'm trying to
on
blast
Earth.
off. Yeah,
Right.
All I was trying to think about was like if my car had the ability to jump just over this.
Leapfrog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, just push a button and
That'd be nice.
yeah.
A slinky car.
Now that would be pretty cool.
That
I'd
would
rather
be
have
pretty
that.
cool. All right, somebody
Get on
out
it.
there, get on that. Some
American engineers.
need to create the slinky car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just actually I could. You could just be in like the middle, and it would be stabilized. So no matter which way the slinky went, you would still be right side up, right?
Yeah.
It would be like a gyroscope. I don't know. Anyway, we are not high,
No.
despite what it sounds like.
I sense that's not sincere, although I have no idea why.
Phil's got the Phil in the
Phil.
booth as always. Phil's VTech in the booth, who is what, bowls deep?
10 bowls deep.
10 bowls deep.
Phil 10 bowls deep.
Svitek.
Svitek.
Yeah, but he's got the all the audio cues at the ready, but it's really nice. Thank you for joining us here. Those of you that are watching us live on AFTERBUZZ TV.
Hello.
Although I don't, I'm on the website and I don't see us. Should we be front and
man.
center?
Yeah, front and center, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh well.
You might have to refresh.
I
Did you
just
Yeah,
refresh?
refresh it, man.
I just did. Oh, there we are.
He's
Okay.
acting to the.
Oh,
the
okay.
Wi-Fi.
It's got the what is it? Young and Restless, The Bachelor.
No.
I don't know what's happening. I'm getting just a bunch of blank studio screens.
Uh-oh.
But I could
Oh, Mario.
okay, now it's something's starting back
Feels
up.
like not right
You
now.
know
I
what?
don't
But we're
wanna-
going to take care of you folks out there in podcast land, which is
Yeah.
where most of you watch us or listen to us anyway. We are
love
here to talk about SNL Saturday Night Live season 37. This week we are talking about the host Academy Award nominated Melissa McCarthy, and just a big congratulations. Of course, nominated for her work in Bridesmaids, and
Well-deserved.
well deserved, absolutely. She was. I actually, you know what? I just finally saw that movie this past week, and we of course have two nominations from that movie.
Yeah.
We have the best original screenplay, which was co-written by Kristen Wiig and her writing partner, whoever that is that I don't have up right now on my screen. But we'll get that.
Yeah, we'll pull up that info for you.
That's no
you don't
problem.
have to look it up. I mean, our listeners. Don't
Okay, I
have
thought
to
you were
look it up. Mario's
talking- I
looking
was
it
like,
up for you.
hush, I want to look it up.
No.
But yeah, she's been nominated. She co-wrote Bridesmaids, of course, with. Why won't you be on your Wikipedia page? Well, I'll tell you what. She with fellow Groundlings performer Annie Mumalo, if I'm saying that right. So who knows? We've got actually a couple of Oscar shows coming up here on AfterBuzz, so we hopefully will be able to get some of them on there. But yeah, so Kristen Wiig, of course, is the current Saturday Night Live cast member.
Yeah,
she's been nominated for an Oscar, and then she wrote the part.
Comedy's getting a lot of Oscars. Like even Jonah Hill. I mean, he didn't do like comedy with Moneyball, but it's kind of like, okay, it's a little.
Well, comedic actors. Well, there is that thing. You know, it's the Oscars generally don't reward comedies, and especially this year when there were a couple of surprises with Michael Fassbender and a couple of other people that didn't get nominations. You know, the Academy is an older collection of people, so they it does tend to skew kind of older and art house crowd. So it's quite surprising. But Bridesmaids, I mean, you can't
ignore that.
You can't ignore it.
Yeah.
It was such a monstrous presence.
Like
the summer,
especially for comedy script or otherwise, it was really well done, well written script and everything.
Yes.
All the performances were great, and yeah, it would be foolish for them to ignore it on that.
Right,
level,
it's the most. Although was not my favorite comedy of last year.
Jack
There were
and
a couple
Jill.
of other ones. I mean, yeah, obviously Jack and Jill.
I'm riffing on that.
But
What would be your favorite comedy of the last year?
I tell you what, I enjoyed a little movie called Cedar Rapids with Ed Helms and John C.
Nice.
Reilly.
I haven't seen that.
It's excellent. It's really funny. It's consistently funny. It's got a heart. A bunch of other people are in it. Anne Heche, Sigourney Weaver, Mike Birbiglia makes a cameo. Yeah, so that's a really good movie. But it's a small little indie film that didn't do much business. So it's.
I'll have to check that out. They shot it like up north or something, right?
Did
like
they? Oh, I don't know.
Portland or something. I don't know.
Well, it's set in Cedar Rapids. I don't know if that's
Oh,
where they
okay.
actually shot it, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. But I don't know if they shot it on location because most of it takes place at a, Motel 6 in the middle of the heartland. So,
Well, Redbox it or
yes, please do.
Netflix it.
So if you can, I mean, it's a little bit, it's not as kind of over the top as Bridesmaids, but Melissa McCarthy was very good in it, and I was really moved by the scene. For those of you that have seen it, where she kind of gets Kristen Wiig out of her funk.
Yeah.
And just kind of, steps it up. And
This is life. This is life.
Right.
Beating you up.
Slapping her and starts slapping her and smacking her around. So she was pretty good in that. I enjoyed it. And so we thought since Saturday Night Live is not doing a new show this week, they're doing the Jimmy Fallon episode, which
We've covered it.
which we've not only covered, but we're going to talk about again later on because Jimmy Fallon's in the news this week with a little sexual harassment lawsuit that he was slapped with. But we'll talk about that at the end of the show, as well as some other SNL Oscar nominees. There have been quite a few of them. And yeah, but Melissa McCarthy. I mean, here's the deal. Do you watch the show Mike and Molly?
No, I have never seen an episode. I've seen billboards.
I've seen one episode of it, and it's good. It's not CBS. Does a lot of like studio comedies. The kind of the multicam, what's known as the multicam sitcom, which is where you're in a studio.
2.5 Men kind of thing.
Right. Well, that's the same
flagship.
guy. That's Chuck Lorre.
Okay.
Produces both, but so I'm not. I don't watch, frankly, a lot of sitcoms. There's 30 Rock. A couple of other like The Office that I watch, but it was good. I mean, it's a CBS comedy. It's kind of the same thing as The King of Queens, kind of the same thing as Everybody Loves Raymond. CBS does
Working
these
class guy.
exactly working class guys, and of course, it was in the news when it first premiered. Not only because it was another Chuck Lorre production, and this was he was looking to kind of expand his base beyond the Charlie Sheen Nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, this was actually before the Nightmare.
He saw it coming.
Well, I mean, I like Charlie Sheen actually. I liked a lot of his movies. I grew up on a lot of his stuff, not just the ones that we know, like Platoon. He did a movie called No Man's Land with an actor that I like named D.B. Sweeney, where they play car thieves, and he was in The Wraith and all these other like 80s, cheeseball, Major League, of course. But I don't know if I would want a full half hour of Charlie Sheen, on TV. So I never got that. But Mike and Molly is a good show, and it was in the news, of course, because both of the title characters are overweight, are heavyset folk, and which is funny because that would only matter in Hollywood, I think.
I can see what you're
because you know, back in of course Roseanne was, you know, she was, you know, when John Goodman, which I think is a far superior show, you know, when they were on Roseanne and Roseanne's Family and all those like incarnations of it, where you could catch an early George Clooney because he played.
That's right, yeah, he was in there. Paying his dues, man.
That's right. That's right.
Oscar nominated, Oscar winning,
yeah, and Oscar nominated as well. But you know, this idea that, you know, you have to be a certain look to be funny, which I mean, frankly, is kind of why like this idea that Charlize Theron and Cameron Diaz last year both did these kind of, you know, raunchy comedies, you know, where there's like, you know, hot girls that talk dirty. You know, is such a stupid thing. And Kristen Wiig, you know, is attractive as well. But you know, comedy, I feel like, you know, we go back to the origins of comedy and commedia dell'arte, like back, you know, in Renaissance times. You know, it was the buffoon, and it was this idea that it was someone that you would laugh at, that was going to make a fool of themselves. And in which case, you know, obviously, a non-traditional, whatever that means, body type, you know, is kind of ideal for that. You know, you got Laurel and Hardy,
funny.
Right? And you got, you know, you got Benny Hill, and you got Fatty Arbuckle, and all of these guys, Jackie Gleason, of course. You know, all of these guys that kind of came up. Henny Youngman towards the end of his life, you know, he was a heavy guy. You know, that's what it is.
You have, you know,
that's what it's about. Is having people laugh at your, you know, whether it's, you know, Woody Allen, you know, even though he's not big, you know, part of his deal was the fact that he looked like Woody Allen. And here was this little, like, you know, nervous-y kind of guy.
A little neurotic. Okay, so you've seen Mike and Molly, and I wasn't sure, are all the jokes about them being big people?
No.
Is that like the centerpiece of it?
No, not even. You know, it's no, it's not even about too heavy set. It's just about a working class. I think it's this deliberate attempt to connect with America, of course, you know, and I'm a slender guy, and you used to be at some point, and
when I was a child. This is actually, I'll say, this is the thinnest I've been in like 15 years.
All right.
Yeah. It's
now let me ask you this: has it been to Southern California? Have you felt like you've had to conform? To Southern California?
I grew up in North Carolina, and you know, everybody just eats whatever, and it's not. That's the thing. Like, nobody there. It's not a deal or anything, but, you know, it's also, I'm trying to take care of myself in some way.
Sure.
But it's true. I mean, you know, Chubby is funny, and there's a lot of guys losing weight, like Seth Rogen, Ricky Gervais, and Jonah Hill right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a switch overall. Just, I think, as a culture, like, we're starting to be like, okay, maybe, you know, we could move this way, like, fat doesn't necessarily need to be funny, or I don't know. I feel like there's some kind of shift. Even First Lady Obama, she's trying to get people off their couches.
They just announced a new, literally yesterday, they unveiled a new elementary school lunch program standards or whatever. No, it's a real thing. But, you know, when we're talking about comedy, and actually that was actually the criticism that was leveled against her, was this idea that we are celebrating this you know, obese or whatever you want to call it, body type. And I don't know if we're celebrating it. There's a history, you know, that to me is when you go into this idea that entertainers are supposed to be our role models and our, you know, and it's so weird because I don't see it like that. It's like, you know, I'm there to be entertained and then I move on.
Yeah. And you're not looking to them to tell you
tell me what to, you know, and it's funny because obviously, you know, and that's a lot of actors do get criticized for that, right? George Clooney is, in particular is kind of like for being politically active, and it's like, you know, shut up, what do these guys know? But you know, it's take it or leave it. Obviously they're people too, and they have their opinions, and you may choose to, but you know, people, you know, Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton. Of course, we can say that because we're guys, and it's a different thing for us, right?
Yes.
It's like we see certain guys and we're like, oh, that guy's cool, but we don't like. I don't know, but there are guys that are out there, right? I imagine that's why like steroids and sports and stuff is such a big deal because some people do look to them. But
I'm on the roids.
Are you?
You don't get come on, man.
You know,
HGH.
I thought you were just wearing layers today.
That too.
It's wearing 2 T-shirts, man.
Yeah. I know. I'm sweaty.
So what did you think of her hosting overall?
She was great. I thought that she was present, and her improv experience made her kind of like elevated. There's a couple scenes where she was like, the other actors, the regulars, are reading the cue cards and everything, but she seemed to know the lines, know the beats, and feel comfortable with the characters, most of them. And you know, I don't want to skip too far ahead, but like the ranch scene in particular, it seemed like she was just there. Like she was.
Let's
just,
talk about
like,
that.
Really
This is the they're in the focus group, and they're Hidden Valley Ranch focus group, and of course this is the one that people are still talking about months later. And she just goes for it, and she ends up, you know, of course, getting, you know, a bucket of you know, the bottle, squeezing it in her face.
There was a lot of ranch in there, man.
Yeah.
She was scooping it up with a spoon into her mouth.
Well, that to me was the best stuff that she was doing, were the little things with, like, you know, the Arlene sketch where she's, you know, trying to grind on Jason Sudeikis in the office. You know, he's like, you know, I'm happily married, and she just, like, you know, just like does this like thing, you know, this pantomime where it's just, yeah, get rid of the ring. You know, those little things that, and that to me, we've talked about this, professional versus non-professional sketch and comedians, is being able to fill in the gaps. You look at the script, and this would be, you know, this is a good idea for a lot of actors out there that are listening. When you get a script, there's lots of things that you can be doing. You know, your line is, you know, whatever, you know, I'm happily married, and there's no direction for what you can do. But again, if you consider your motivation or your, you know, goal or your objective or whatever training you have that you're doing in the scene, you are horny. You want to get, and now this person presents.
Now you're just talking about me, though.
Okay, so you, for example, you are horny, and somebody presents. We do this all the time, right? As guys, we meet a girl in the bar, and the girl, you know, starts, you know, starts to kind of throw a rejection. Well, I'm here with my friends, and this and that. You know, you have to kind of incorporate that and be like, well, I'd love to meet your friends. Oh, I got my friends too. Come on, let's put our groups together, you know, kind of thing. So she does that, right? Just he objects by saying, I'm happily married, indicates the ring. She just looks at him and is just like, look at the ring. Who cares about the ring? You know, kind of. And that's funny because we don't, obviously, you know, in comedy, we want it to keep going. What's funny is this oversexed, inappropriate office worker. If he goes, I'm married, indicates the ring, and she goes, oh, you're right, I should be totally respectful, and walk away, the scene is over. That's not funny. That's totally normal. That's what most people would do. But again, we want to see the buffoon. We want to see somebody be a clown and go crazy. So if whatever the objective is, you overstep that, or you incorporate that. You're like, well, invite your wife then. Oh, what does she look like? You know, oh, she could watch. She could man the camera or whatever. You know.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like with the cue cards, like, you know, if she was some other host, you know, it'd be just looking at the cue card and like, I need to say these lines, but she already knew what was going on, and she's just kind of riffing. I feel like Kristen Wiig does the same thing. Like she's trying to make almost the other actors laugh. She's so engaged in them, she's like trying to just move them or shake them in some way, and they can't be unmoved in that. Jason Sudeikis did a great job of, you know, he was there too. It seemed like he wasn't, if he was looking off and reading a cue card while she was doing all that business, it would have killed it. But he was straight man, and he was there like reacting to her, and that's what really made it, I don't know, acting wise, you know, communion or
right.
But I mean, that's what really made it funny.
Well, because it makes the scene realistic, right? Because here we have two opposing forces, and for people that do write sketch, and for, you know, you do well to watch a scene like that, which is just simple construction, where you have opposing objectives. You have the straight man, as you said, who's the guy in the office, the inappropriate office worker who wants to hump on him. He cannot let her hump on him because he is married. He's the straight man.
He also doesn't, even if he wasn't, I'm sure he would.
Well, again, even if you yield, if either side yields, the scene is over.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't want to see that. We want to, and this is actually one of the few instances, by the way, where conflict is all right, because the funny thing is to watch. The weird person is her being humpy. All right. So now she wants to get it on with him, and regardless of what this could almost be an improv scene. He is going to say no and object every time. She needs to overcome his objections and still try to, and she does. And sometimes it's just straight physical, right? She takes the balloon, she starts kind of, you know, flossing it, you know, up and down her hiney, and it's like, you know, that she's, you know, backing up on him. She's, you know, biting the horse, licking the horse, the horse balloon, and
gently blowing. It was a quiet whisper.
That's
like
right.
Quiet whisper.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I don't think he's going to hear you down at that end. So, I mean, she really, really fills in the gaps because, frankly, I think the material was not up to her. It takes a while, right?
Yeah.
And so, for whatever reason, that particular week, the sketches were, I don't think, that strong. There were 4 that I thought were all right. One of which actually has nothing to do with her, and that's the little pound cake commercial with the HPV doll.
It was kind of disturbing. I was like, what's happening? The first like 15, 20 seconds was straight on.
Right. It was like a regular old, doll. And the beautiful part was they filmed it in this kind of older style. It's kind of like, oh, look what we found in the vaults. Because, I feel like girls don't really play with those.
Kid sister.
Right, Kid Sister was one, and the first, and then the dolls that started peeing, like that was really kind of revolutionary. And so that's actually where I thought it was going, where I thought like, oh, okay, now it's gonna vomit, and now it's gonna, poop, and now it's gonna do whatever. And it's like, no, it's gonna whip out, from its like Wolverine style, and not only that, it's gonna do it at random times. It doesn't announce to you. You don't know. She's the little girl is sleeping there, and she gets
But they seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, she smiles and whatever.
My favorite part of that was at the very end with the hazardous waste. Like you have to, like a syringe or anything else, you just have a vat full of these old discarded dolls.
Yes, and one of them turns and looks at you when you open the.
Yeah, that's terrifying. I know a lot of people that are terrified of Chucky and dolls and that kind of thing. I'm sure there was a lot of people who's like, I need to leave the room.
Because of that must be a thing, right?
There's got to be some phobia of dolls. We're going to let you know what it is.
The phobia of dolls is called pediophobia.
Pediophobia?
Pediophobia, yeah. Or pediophobia. Fear of dolls, relatively common. It's believed to be type A of an automatonophobia, or fear of humanoid figures.
So like robots and androids, those kind of guys?
Stuffed animals, that sort of thing. Dolls that talk or move, or old-fashioned China dolls, are especially common targets of fear. Now, those I get. The old-fashioned China dolls, for those of you who might be too young to know, these were the dolls. These were porcelain dolls. And they say China, they don't mean Chinese. They mean porcelain, China. These were the dolls that when you put them down, the eyes would close.
Oh, yeah.
And then remember, you would lift them, and then the eyelashes would boom open.
Yes.
It had something to do with like the weight of the eyeballs or gravity or something. So those were creepy, actually.
Yeah, those are pretty.
Especially
strange.
When they had. I remember I have a little sister, and when she was growing up, she had one, and my mom had one, and these were like, because these are not just they're these like very weird, heavily made up porcelain dolls, with like perfect curl hair and like eyeshadow and like, lips painted and, little rouge on the cheeks. So it was like, not only that, it was almost already outdated by the time that I was a kid growing up in the early 80s, that it was, it's a completely, it's
from a different era.
It's from a different
already.
era, right? It was like, a Civil War, something. I don't know, but yeah. So those dolls were particularly creepy. And just so you know, it's not a phobia unless it's diagnosed for more than 6 months.
I would hope at least that people that have HPV or anything know now that there's a vaccine, and over a period of 6 months, I don't know. I was just like, hey, wait, okay. 3 times over 6 months, okay.
That'll count. Of course, there, and then we think about like mannequins. There's a great Twilight Zone episode about the guy who starts to see mannequins, or the mannequins talk to him after a nuclear apocalypse. So
wasn't that also an '80s movie?
Which one?
Mannequin or something like that?
Mannequin, of course, but we don't want it to be. That was more like a comedy. That was, he fell in love with the mannequin. So that actually that's probably pedophilia.
Yeah,
I'm gonna guess.
But pedophilia sounds like some other problem.
Well,
it's just spelled differently.
Pedophilia, symptoms.
Diagnosis, symptoms, treatments.
I love the internet. You can look up anything.
Yeah.
But so Little Pound Cake, and the name is so innocuous as well. It's like you have no idea. But the HPV vaccine, of course, in the news very recently. Most of the Republican presidential candidates are against it, as they feel it's an intrusion. The mandated vaccines. Rick Perry, of course, down in Texas, got my home state of Texas, got in trouble for mandating vaccine. Imagine that, wanting your children to not get cancer. So we had two sketches where Melissa McCarthy played, the aforementioned Arlene, where she plays the humpy office worker, and of course Lulu, where they did this whole. Now here's where I think
Lulu Diamond.
Here's where I think that SNL kind of might be missing its target audience. SNL, we've got a couple of great shows coming up in February. On the 11th, we have February 11th, we have Carmen playing. Now Carmen is I believe they're brother and sister, but it's a boy and a girl who are. Well, why don't we click on them?
Carmen.
Carmen. They're just friends. Oh, they're engaged. Okay. All right.
Oh, congratulations.
And they are best known for pop covers that they do. Chris Brown's "Look at Me Now" and Nicki Minaj, LMFAO, and so their original. They had an original song that was used in the NBA Finals promos last year, but a couple of kids from Nebraska, it looks like. And this, along with Lana Del Rey, is a very obvious attempt to
they another
connect.
internet?
Yes.
Like, are they the ones
yes.
like they did a car commercial or something? And
oh, they might have.
Because I remember seeing like some kind of poppy indie, and it seemed like they were like a YouTube style kind of thing.
They are. But they had a video. The "Look at Me Now" was posted on Ryan Seacrest's blog, and they blew up. And they're about to release another album soon.
I don't know if you're aware of this. Their name is Carmen together.
Yes.
There is a prominent Christian singer from the 80s and early 90s named Carmen.
It's different spelling. That's Carmen, like the name we know, Carmen. This is Carmen, Karmin. Carmine.
I would just love if there were people turning in like
thinking Carmen has made a comeback.
Yeah, he's gonna sing Lazarus.
But so they are very obviously, and it's Zooey Deschanel is hosting. So very obviously, we're trying to connect with the youth. And they do a sketch that I understood what they were referencing, Robert Osborne on Turner Classic Movies. But I don't know if many young people are watching Turner Classic Movies and get that they're doing. So I wonder if when you do that, when you pick kind of a format that might be a little kind of, not outdated, but a little esoteric, thank you, then you lose, part of your audience early on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me,
especially since the only gag. Down the stairs, that's what I was going to say. That's the only gag in the whole thing. So
Yeah, no, I could see. I haven't watched any of that, and I don't really know. My knowledge of movies before 1960 is just nothing. Okay. Like Casablanca and Citizen Kane, like the basics.
Sure.
So but I at least got like, the idea of it.
Yeah.
But I could watch Melissa McCarthy falling downstairs all day long.
To her credit, she did it a couple of different ways, which was nice, But again, I don't know if the level of writing. I mean, she's going to be a great host. They're going to bring her back, of course. She's got a long, strong career ahead of her. But we'd like to see the material kind of rise to her level, because I mean, she could be one of those legendary hosts. She could be, Justin Timberlake or an Alec Baldwin, one of those that comes back.
Justin Timberlake. I mean, I understand, but man,
is that
Steve Martin, Alec Baldwin, Justin Timberlake.
Well, Justin Timberlake is considered one of the better hosts.
Yeah, he's fun.
And when I say best hosts, these are my definitions of the best hosts. The ones that elevate the material, like the ones that's why Kristen Wiig, that's why we talk about her week in and week out. It's not because she's in amazing sketches, but because whatever she's in, we will watch.
Yeah.
Because we know that something entertaining is going to happen, even if it doesn't, hit a home run.
She's going to find something funny.
Yes.
To do, no matter what.
Yes. And Justin Timberlake does that.
Yeah.
In his, of course, in his digital shorts. Digital shorts. So those were mine. What were some other sketches that you liked?
Let me see. I will say this about the Lulu skit. I don't know why, but one of my favorite parts was towards the end, where the host was talking about like, I'm not going to go to the bar, and then like it kind of devolves into a personal monologue, and then it's like, I need to quit boozing or I'm going to lose it. And just like, no, I'm just one beer.
I'm just going to stop in for one drink.
Just one drink, and I know exactly where you're going, man. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Judy. What they opened.
Yes.
Yeah, like the first time I saw like the I'm so and so.
What was that? What episode was that?
Anne Heche. Not Anne Heche. Anne Hathaway was the was the first time I saw her.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They had I can't remember the name of the show that they're on, but it's like the four sisters, and then she turns
drink coffee.
And then I go to bed and sleep alone. But then, yeah, when I already love Judy and those arms, like the hand. This is a little different thing, but it's the same type of joke. Scary Movie 2 or something.
Yeah.
Where Chris Elliott has like this weird hand, and they use that joke over and over again, where he's like, "I made some mashed potatoes," and he's using his creepy hand,
hand,
like to serve up the mashed potatoes. And with those creepy little hands that Judy has, and I can't remember Melissa McCarthy's character, but with those big muscles and the teeth, you can't even understand what she's saying. I don't know, man. I love that skit. Like, I know some people were like, I thought Judy was done, but I could watch a Judy TV show with that forehead.
With my by myself.
That's what it is. Man.
Well,
we play Kick the Crow. Hey, man, this is a big country, and there are people out there like that.
Yeah, well, she apparently, I guess some people try to start up that she might be making fun of the people with disabilities. But
yeah, people always have something to say, man. It's comedy. Just laugh. I would say with the intro, like that was the dancing thing, I thought it was a pretty nice gag, but she was like out of breath when she first came out. Like, I was like, is she excited or something? Like, what's going on? Like, when she first came out, like, I don't know if it was anxiety or something, but
Melissa McCarthy?
Yeah.
Oh, she might have. It might have been. They might have had her in the makeup right up until and then go.
Yeah, I could see that.
I hadn't noticed that. All right. Well, those were indeed some pretty good sketches. Lady Antebellum, of course, was the musical guest. Country western. I say pop, kind of poppy.
Yeah, I would say pop
southern
before
pop.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they won. I think I read they just got their 11th career Grammy nomination.
Wow.
Like, they already had 11. They've been around since like 2007, 2008.
Right. Yeah, no, they're again, anytime you have a band on there that's not that's not a straight up pop, like a big huge pop, or in this case, now that they're doing internet sensations, it's a big band, and you know that they're good. So I'm not a country pop kind of fan, but I will tune in, because I figured they have booked somebody that's pretty good. Kelly Clarkson's another example that earlier this year. She's not bad, not my taste.
Yeah,
but
she has a beautiful voice. She is amazing.
Right, she can sing, and they're pretty solid. So we're going to go to commercial real quick, and when we return, we're going to talk about the hot water that Jimmy Fallon has landed himself in.
Controversy.
Allegedly. And then we're going to talk about some former SNL members who have also gotten Oscar noms, just like this week's host, Melissa McCarthy. Mario Hernandez here with Graham. Hi, SNL AfterBuzz TV podcast. Take us away, Phil.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you. A lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
I love scotch. I love scotch. Scotchy, scotch, scotch. Here it goes down into my belly.
All right, thank you, Phil, for that rather random.
The
I like to
Human
keep
Torch.
it random.
You like to keep it random.
That's what the people want, man.
12 bowls deep now, Phil. In the
That is a massive bong you got back there.
that's bigger than you, Phil.
Yeah, he's just hotboxing the booth. I can't even see him. There's just plume of smokes.
There's just like,
Sorry, I was picturing Whore Island.
I love John Benjamin.
oh, is that what that? Oh yeah. Oh, that's from Archer.
Oh man, John Benjamin.
Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, yeah,
Jimmy
Jimmy
Fallon.
Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon. Oh, dear.
Back on subject.
So
what did he do?
Well, he didn't do it. He's got.
He did it.
I guess.
I'm gonna say
Let's
it.
cut the shit. He did it.
He's pulling a David Letterman, man. All those guys.
He may have. Well, a former staffer of his has sued Jimmy Fallon. Has sued actually the show Late Night with Jimmy Fallon and NBC because he claims that the network and the comedian fired him after he complained about being demoted when a female staffer took his job. So he has in essence filed a sexual discrimination lawsuit because they replaced him with a woman who he claims was not up to snuff because she asked him a lot of times what to do and seemed lost. But when he asked what was going, why did he get demoted? He'd only gotten praise. He was told that that Jimmy simply felt more comfortable with the woman chosen to replace him. So he never received any constructive criticism. So he, only received praise. While his so the man in question is a man named Paul Tarascio.
Well, now I hear it, it's like this guy is probably some b-hole. And they're trying to be subtle with him. It's like, hey, you're the kind of guy that will turn around and sue somebody if you get upset. And it's like, maybe you are too intense, man.
You need to dial it down?
Yeah, maybe it's something like that. Like, this guy just doesn't get what's really going on. And like, if he says, I'm putting out, I don't know this guy. And it's like, hey, man, you're okay. Hey, you're cool. Don't worry. Hey, just don't flip out.
Yeah, that's generally not how these shows work, though, because he's a stage manager.
Okay.
That's kind of something they don't let you on these shows. It's such a tightly run ship, and it's everyone's such a pro. They're not going to let something like that slide and not let him know. They'll tell him, be like, listen, I need you to be more this and this and this, and then when he doesn't do it, then they will take action accordingly, or you're being too rough, or you're being whatever.
Okay,
it's unlikely that. That this guy, that he would be, short of the talent, I can't imagine anybody being kind of a prima donna on the set and people being too afraid to say something.
Yeah.
You know what I
was
mean?
just going off of fantasy there. Like maybe he just puts a gun down every time he's about to.
He's like, listen, you bastards, we're going to do the show right. That's actually how Phil runs this this show. People don't know. Phil is actually.
He's doing this right now. So
he's doing with the knife. So. Anyway, we'll see. We'll keep you updated as that plays out. But that literally just happened this week, so we'll see. Once again, Melissa McCarthy, Academy Award nominated, which is great. She might be the first person. She's probably the first Oscar nominee to who's shat in a sink on camera. So let's.
Little known fact: she was so committed she actually shat.
She actually shat. Little known fact, actually, it was William Holden in 1952 who was the first Oscar nominee to shit in a sink. It was a drunk Rex Harrison in 1954 who, on the set of Dr. Dolittle, wanted to.
Doctor did a lot.
Doctor do a lot in the sink. So, can you guess? Okay, so when we talk about SNL, of course, Melissa McCarthy is not a cast member, but there have been only seven SNL regulars who have received Oscar nominations after they left the show. Excuse me, there are 6 who were nominated after they left the show, and 1 was nominated before he became an SNL regular. So can anybody out there, and those of you that are listening to us live, go ahead and tweet us and let us know what you think, and maybe Phil can.
So they were cast members, they were not hosts.
They were not hosts, no, because hosts over the years, there's tons
they
of
come.
them. But regular cast members who have in fact become Oscar nominees.
Let's see, Joe Rocket.
I don't know who that is, but no, that's not one of them.
Let me see. Man, now I'm thinking too hard. Now I'm just like...
You are thinking too hard, I think. There's one that I thought of earlier before I even logged on that was right. There's going to be 2 that you're like, oh, that's right. And then there's going to be...
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your answer must be in the form of a question.
Oh, you do it.
Oh, you were waiting. You had your finger over the button, Phil.
He had his finger on that Batman quote. No, Eddie Murphy is one of them, indeed. He was a regular cast member, of course, and then was nominated for Dreamgirls.
Man.
So the one that I thought of was Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah.
Who was nominated for Lost in Translation, I believe.
One of my faves, man. Bill Murray.
Which was just on cable the other day, and I watched a bit of it. Yeah, he has been nominated for, Lost in Translation, Best Actor in 2003. and so the ones that you're like, oh yeah, okay. Dan Aykroyd.
What?
He was nominated for Driving Miss Daisy, for Best Supporting Actor in Driving Miss Daisy.
Wow.
Robert Downey Jr., who many people forget that he was a cast member.
I just did, yeah.
That's right. So, and of course, he was nominated for quite a few times, I believe. Most recently in Tropic Thunder, Chaplin.
He's good.
And those are the two right there.
Charming.
Joan Cusack, who many people forget that she was also a cast
right.
member. Joan Cusack was nominated.
What'd she do?
I'm without looking. I think Working Girl. I think or Broadcast News. Broadcast News.
Broadcast News.
Oh wait, maybe both. I see 2 Oscar nominations. Oh, for In and Out. Oh right, Best Supporting Actress for In and Out with Kevin Kline, and Best Supporting Actress for Working Girl, which I knew, which was on recently as well. That's
Has John Cusack been nominated? Is that like? Cause
I don't believe John Cusack has been nominated.
I've always relegated him to be the more successful of the two.
But, of the Cusacks.
Yeah, but
John Cusack, I don't believe so. Of course, he wasn't. He was not an SNL member. But let's see. Nope, he's nominated for a Golden Globe.
Okay,
which doesn't count.
Yeah, that's nothing. I have 10 at home.
10 Golden Globes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy them at like flea markets here.
That's
in
where
LA.
I got Hollywood Boulevard, man.
Hollywood Boulevard, Farmers Market. You can actually buy them. And now, of course, I've lost my. There we are. Bill Murray, Michael McKean, who is, of course, from the Waiting for Guffman series. He's Christopher Guest, and so he was nominated for music actually with his wife Annette O'Toole, who played Martha Kent on Smallville, the mom.
Oh wow!
Who also played Lana Lang in one of the movies. But they're husband and wife, and they co-wrote the song for "A Kiss at the End of the Rainbow," "A Mighty Wind," which was performed by Eugene Levy. And, And then finally, the one really mind-blowing one, because he's been in the news the last few years as kind of a out there kind of guy. We said Eddie Murphy, of course. Randy Quaid is the only one to have had an Oscar nomination before he became a cast member.
Yeah.
And so we sit there and we go, what in the world was Randy Quaid nominated for? You'd have to go back all the way back to 1974. Because Randy Quaid was one of the originals on the show, or was one of the first seasons. And so he was nominated for The Last Detail, which is a movie, a Bob Raffleson movie with, of course, with
Jack Nicholson.
With Jack Nicholson, yeah. So
we are the Shore Patrol.
That's right. Nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Here's the thing, though. With the exception of Robert Downey Jr., right? With the exception of Robert Downey Jr., all of those are Best Supporting Actor nominations. So we go back to this idea that the Academy does not reward leading comedy actors.
I see that. Yeah,
they are mostly into, of course, just if they relegate you. They want you to just be supporting actors. Once you're a main actor in a comedy, though, forget it.
Man, I need to choose some, because I'm at that crossroads. Am I going to get the Best Supporting Actor? Best lead actor.
Well, it's actually not up to you. It's up to the studios. It's whatever the studio submits you in.
Oh, okay.
So the studio does a whole campaign on your behalf, and it's either, they're the ones that put. When I met Kevin Spacey, I'm gonna name drop here. When I met Kevin Spacey back in 1996, I asked him, because he was being touted as the Best Supporting Actor nominee for The Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
And I asked him point blank. This is actually.
Wait, he was put as supporting in that one?
Yes.
Well, okay, I guess.
Well, here's the thing. Here's because I asked him. I said, "Listen, you were that was the year, of course, that he was also in Seven." I said, "Look, why aren't you up for Best Actor from The Usual Suspects? Because you were actually the narrator. You're the protagonist of that. You're the one that kind of pulls everything through, and of course, the big finale, the big reveal. But and you Best Supporting Actor in Seven, which you were great in and creepy and all that."
Yeah.
And he said to me, well, the studio wanted to do that, but I told them not to, because I said, look, the role, this is Kevin Spacey now talking, the role in Seven was a walk-on towards the end. All of the crazy stuff that I did, I don't actually do. That's the art department.
Yeah.
It's this implied thing. We don't see him doing it. And anyway, I'm just, he was just starting to kind of get big. He was like, my time will come. He's like, put me in the Best Supporting. That way, he was like, the field is super crowded that year. That was the year of John Travolta and Pulp Fiction. Nick Cage, who won from Leaving Las Vegas.
Oh, man.
Sean Penn for Dead Man Walking. So it was.
That's a wise move, yeah.
You know, he was like, my time will come. And sure enough, it did a few years later with American Beauty.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a studio, you know, it's a chess match.
Man.
It really is political. It really, really is. And now we have, of course, two SNL, both a writer and a nominee. A writer and a host, so that's really wonderful. Congratulations to them both. Hopefully, we'll get them on the show soon enough. Certainly, Kristen Wiig, who's amazing. Coming up not tomorrow, the 28th, but next Saturday, February 4th, and on February 5th, we will be recording that podcast. Channing Tatum will be the host, the star of Haywire, and he's also coming out in some love movie, The Vow.
Yeah, with Nicholas Sparks.
Is it a Nicholas? Is it? Oh, dear.
I think it's with Rachel McAdams, who was in The Notebook.
That's right.
And he was in Dear John, which, isn't that a Nicholas Sparks book, too?
I don't know. You tell me.
I've read all of them.
I know you have.
I'm a big romantic.
You need that's steroids for your mind. Yeah, those are lady steroids.
Yeah, man. I could talk for hours about poetry and art. You
hear that, ladies?
Longing. Here's my longing face. You can't see it on the podcast, but it's for the cameras. You know, I just look off.
Make sure you follow.
Unbelievable. Oh man, I love titties. So
that was not us. That was Phil.
Yeah,
12 bowls high now. 12 bowls deep. So yeah. So tune in next February 5th. We're going to be talking about Channing Tatum and Bon Iver.
And now your AfterBuzz TV
predictions.
They should do Nicholas Sparks romantic comedy parody.
They must.
Maybe something about stripping, since he's a stripper.
That's right. He's coming out in Magic Mike with Steven Soderbergh, where he plays based on his
stripping name. I looked it up and I watched some of his videos. His name was Chan Crawford. That was his stripping name.
Chan Crawford?
Yeah.
Is that his actual name? What's his real name?
I don't know his name. I think it's Channing Tatum, but his stripping name was Chan Crawford. Chan Crawford. What if they would you get upset if they did a sequel of the Chippendales skit with Patrick Swayze and Chris, both of whom rest in peace, man.
They're both dead now. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I wonder, he's from West Virginia. But no, it is Channing Matthew Tatum. That's his real name. Yeah.
But if they did a Chippendales follow-up, if they get like Bobby Dunahan.
He is in Dear John, by the way. Very good.
Is that Nicholas Sparks?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm on a roll.
So wow, you know all this. You know, I know the sports, and you know the Nicholas Sparks.
Well, I know enough to talk to a girl about. I haven't seen or read. I'm like, oh yeah, is that the new Nicholas Sparks? Walk to Remember. Oh yeah, no.
He's born from. He's
Love
in Alabama.
Lasts Forever.
He's a Southern boy. He's a good guy, and he whoops ass in Haywire. So if you haven't checked out Haywire, definitely check that out. That's right, Chan Crawford. There he is.
I go to IMDb. That's where I get all my news.
Wow, he was talking about doing a stripper movie with Nicholas Refn, the guy that did Drive.
Oh, wow.
That would be a far different movie. So yeah, so those are our predictions, and be sure to tune in Sunday, February 5th.
Don't watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, don't watch the Super Bowl. Tune in with us.
This is the Super Bowl of comedy.
The Super Bowl of comedy right here in the AfterBuzz TV studios.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Yeah. I'm going to be playing February 8th at the Comedy Store, the main room. You can follow me on Twitter, Cinemario. That's CINEMARIO. And you can always follow Graham at
Graham High at Twitter. And I'm
going to
try website. I am grahamhigh.com. I haven't updated. I've been lazy, but I'm going to try to hit up the Silver Lake Lounge tonight, do a little open mic.
All right. So if you're out in Silver Lake this evening, the 27th, come check out Sky High, Graham High, and cheer him on.
Hipster. Yeah. You could boo me. That's all right. I need some more haters.
He feeds off the energy. There he is. Yeah. All right, settle down. You're the back.
Y'all don't know me. I don't know. But
well, they know you if they listen to this podcast. So keep tuning in, folks, and check us out, AfterBuzzTV.com. New website. Thanks to Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
Looking really good. Download us, of course, on iTunes, or give us a call here in the studio. As always, my pleasure, Graham. Thank you so much. It's a lot of fun.
Times.
All right, folks. We'll see you next time. Take us away, Phil.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.